Yeah. So, welcome to another meeting of pre-scene information. As you guys all know, that we are heading towards the March 2024 exam. This is your facilitator for strategic business leadership, and we are analyzing the pre-scene. After that, we're gonna be thinking what else can be asked in this pre-scene. What's the examiner guess? That's just the guess, not the exact questions that are going to be tested, right? And along with that, we'll have some theoretical revision classes as well as some drafting practices of the difficult questions, right? Towards the end. My name is Abdul Basit. For any queries and anything, you can just text me on WhatsApp. My number is +92 331 262 3849. In last class, what we did, we just covered these elements, right? That what's the introduction of this industry, the football sector information, football and professional clubs, and how this competition operates and all that, right? So, how the clubs earn and how what are the expenses of these clubs, right? So we did that. Our today's target is to cover these things, right? This might not take too much time, but again, we need to cover this. That what is FFPR, media coverages, what are the challenges, and this might be the section where can be the most of the questions can be asked. As you see, there are stakeholders. There could be a question on stakeholders. There are risk and threats. SBL examiner loves the questions on the risk and the controls and all that, right? Teams leading innovation and sustainability, yeah, integrated reporting and all that. These all are the things which can be asked. So in today's basically session, we have to cover this particular element, right? And in last, we're gonna be covering these. So now, what is financial fair play? I hope you guys have an idea what's introduction, football sector information, sport of football, professional clubs in Thailand, then Thailand Football League. You must remember each of the thing in the last session. Just we did that, right? So now, financial fair play award, right? Fair play regulation. Now, what's that? See, it's basically a regulation that a particular club does not uses. It's basically a regulation that a particular club does not uses its power that much that the other clubs are just influenced of that power and they couldn't do anything, right? So this is are basically designed to stop professional football spending more than they earn trying to achieve success. See, if a club wants to get success, it will do anything to get the success, right? It might invest too much funds. So see, if there are two clubs, one is too rich, one is too loss making. So it's not a like with like comparison, right? The rich one would buy expensive players and would play the best 11 while the poor one is not going to do anything, and obviously so you know the outcome of that. So there is a financial fair play regulation that each of the club that restricts each club, right? That's the power, that's the regulated body that restricts each club to overutilize its powers, right? So FFPR are designed to stop professional clubs to spending more than they earn, right? So spending more than they earn, and trying to achieve success, and therefore they stop them getting into financial difficulties, which may jeopardize their existence, right? They stop them their financial difficulties, and this jeopardize their existence, right? This jeopardize their existence. So FFPR apply to clubs' relevant earning, which are not identical to accounting profit. So this regulation is totally applicable on the club's relevant earning, right? This application is totally relevant to the club's relevant earning, and that's not accounting profit. So they have a format of relevant earning. What's relevant earning? It's relevant income less relevant expenses, right? What relevant earning? It's a relevant income less relevant expenses. How do we do that? So they have given each and every club a memento, that a page, that you have these relevant incomes, not more than that. You have these relevant expenses, not more than that. You cannot get any other particular expense which is not mentioned here. Similarly, you cannot get any other particular income which is not mentioned here. So relevant income and relevant expenses, right? These have been given here at FFPR memento, which is given, right? So this sum and gets you the relevant earning. This summify and gets you the relevant earnings, right? So there is a rule of on that relevant earning. And what's that rule? Read here. There's a rule on that relevant earning. And what's that rule? It's FFPR allow each club to have relevant expenses exceeding relevant income to a maximum of $5 million calculated over a 3 period. So now here comes the rule. What's the rule? The rule is that this regulation gives each club an allowance, right? And an allow of a particular facility that it exceeds relevant income to a maximum of $5 million calculated over a 3 year period. You got my point? That means your expenses, that means your expenses, this can go 5 million above to the relevant income for 3 year period. This is the rule. If it went up above the 5 million, then there will be a challenge. If it went up above the 5 million, then there will be a challenge, guys. Then there will be a challenge. Now, sir, we are the students, we don't know. So can you give us the example that how do I can get this particular FFPR things get sorted? Again, I'm saying this pre-scene is being given to you to remember it, right? To make sure that each and every point is in your mind. Examiner gives you that. You know the industry, you know the things, you know the each and everything, right? So example, relevant earning rules are introduced in year zero, and consideration of whether they have been breached, therefore starts in year three, at the end of first 3 year period. So this is the relevant earning. What was the relevant earning rule? That your expenses can go above the earning for a 3 year period up till the 5 million, right? So that's 1, 2, 3. Take these 3 years, sum it, right? Let's open the Excel. We have taken the 3 years. So 1, 2, 3, right? So what's the income? 25, 20, and 17. 25, 20, and 17. One of that was on minus, right? So it's minus 20, right? So let's sum it and see what happens. So you summed it, so it's 22, right? It's your relevant earnings, right? It's your relevant earnings. Okay, it's 22, right? Here, 22. Then total of 3 year, it's 22, right? Total of 3 years, it's 22. Period is 3 years, right? So does the rule break of expenses going above? The negatives are the expenses there, right? The negative are the expenses. So does the rule break that negatives going above 5 million is allowable? So here's no rule break, right? It's the positive one. It's the income, not the loss, right? Now take the fourth, fifth, and sixth years. Put the numbers. It's -1. It's -2. Put these numbers, right? And it's -4. Now see whether the rule breaks or not. Now you want to be taking the next 3 years. It's the rule for the 3 years that your expenses can go above the 5 million, right? There is rule for the 3 years that your expenses, your relevant expenses can go above the 5 million. It's 22. You made a here. You made the formula. First you took 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to take 2, 3, 4. So the expenses are above here in these 3 year rule. The expenses are above here, but only 4 million. Does the rule break? So, no, sir, the rule doesn't break. No, sir, the rule doesn't break, right? No, sir, the rule doesn't break here. Okay, another year, 40. Now, first you took one, two, three. Now, then you took two, three, four. Now you took three, four, five. So, does the rule break? No. It's just an example, right? It's not on our company, it's just an example. So, here, this cannot be a rule break here, right? Now you took the four, five, six, and here comes the expenses above the income. Here comes the expenses above the income of 5 million. So yes, here the rule break. Yes, here the rule breaks, right? So this is an example. So anyone can guess now that this could be one of the favorite topic for examiner to test, right? They could give you some incomes and earnings, and they could ask you that whether the rule of your company or any particular acquisition we are going, does the rule of that FFPR have been breaked or not? So you could be have used, right? You could be asked there this question. So what could be the maximum thing that can be done for breaking this rule? What could be the maximum thing that can be done for breaking this rule? So penalties for breaching the FFPR. Penalties for breaching the FFPR include fine, loss of points, loss of prize money. So these are the penalties that can be used, right? That can be given if your rule is break of FFPR, not being allowed to compete in Wokian League and Domestic Cup, right? So there are some severe consequences. So therefore, I took a lot of time to make you explain that what exactly financial fair trade regulations are here, and does this have a reality? Yeah, this have a reality, right? This have a reality, and you guys have to follow these rules, right? The teams have to follow these rules. Okay. Now, media coverages. Many games in KFL divisions are broadcast live on television. It's just like a normal league, which you guys, if you're from Pakistan, you must be knowing the PSL. It's broadcasted live in each and every country. Then IPL, these are the cricket leagues. Similarly, there are the football leagues, the Premier League, the German League, and then we have Serie A, League One, and many leagues, right? Okay. So there's also considerable coverage of clubs in Division One in newspaper and social media. So there's a media coverage also, right? In order to increase newspaper sales, journalists are very keen to obtain exclusive stories, right? Exclusive stories. What does that mean? Those stories which are not covered by other newspapers, right? About clubs and players. So sometimes they do and normally like giving in a fake things, right? That like affairs and all that. The player have does that, the player did that. So these are the things which covers the media. And what's the intention behind that? It's just that you have to sell your newspaper, right? Now, the industry challenge. What is the industry challenge? The industry challenge of a soccer club, the first and the most difficult one, is to remain successful. The challenge for the club, the main challenge for the club, and it's common that you have to be successful. The main challenge for your club, win games at any cost. This means consistently achieving high league positions and performing in domestic cup competition so that they can qualify for and hopefully do well in Wokian international leagues. So the main challenge of this industry is to win games. Although there are other challenges to retain players, to make sure your player invests 100%, to expedite out of the player, the best of them, the best outcome of them. But the main challenge is to win games of this industry, right? And to, yeah. So the main challenge here is to win games, right? And to achieve that challenge, what companies do, they make significant expenditure in buying best players. Therefore, these players have a fees in millions, right? If you remember any of the player, Like the recent transaction was of Messi and Ronaldo. Messi being transferred to Inter Miami from PSG, Ronaldo being transferred from Manchester United to Ronaldo being transferred from Manchester United to uh, I guess Al Nassr, right? And similarly, Neymar being transferred from PSG to Al Hilal, right? So they have some high fees. So why do the club pays these high fees? They pays just for they pays just for to win games, right? Clubs can have difficulties ensuring that their income is greater than expenditure. Yeah, club can be a difficulties that their income is greater than expenditure. The operating profits of number of leading clubs have fallen recent years, and that's mostly because of the fallen income and obviously the high cost paid to the players, right? So the main challenge, if someone asks you, the main challenge of football industry is to win games, and for that, what the clubs do, they buy expensive players, and because they buy expensive players, they can breach the threshold of relevant earning and relevant expenses. If you remember the relevant incomes, what are the relevant incomes? Prize money, ticket sales, revenue, merchandise sales, profit on disposal, non-current assets, profit on sale of players. The relevant income is not the owner equity fund, right? Or you could not ask the shareholders to pay you money, and then that can be your relevant income. Only these are the relevant income, right? Only these are the relevant. So these only can be the relevant earnings here, right? Prize money, ticket sales, and relevant expenses. Mentioning the income and expenses means that you could not bring any other income out of that box. And similarly, you could not charge any other expenses out of that box for calculation of relevant earnings, right? So when you buy the best players, you pay the higher amount, and then it could be the expense. And if it's the expense, then your relevant income can go fall. Now, the risk and threats of this particular club, what are the risk and threats? Loss of income through poor performance, right? If you're not winning, you're not earning. If you're not winning, you are not earning, right? And consequently, lower match attendance by supporter. So if you have a lower fan fame, if you have lower supporters, so they won't be attending the matches of yours in your stadium, and your stadium generating income would be falling, and your stadium generated income would be falling, right? So loss of income through poor performance is a major threat. Obviously, examiner could ask here that what could be a resolution for or resolver for this threat. So you could ask that win games by hiring the good players at a good rate, negotiate contractual terms should be negotiated with the players. Like do not buy a player for 5 year, buy it for 1 year and see the performance and then renew the contract, right? So this is the thing. Similarly, competition from other clubs, it's a threat, right? For prize money. They're also fighting for the prize money. They're also fighting for the supporters. You convert your supporters into their high by hiring the best player. Like if I follow Ronaldo, I won't be following a club. I follow Ronaldo, right? If he is in Manchester United, I'll follow that. If he is in Juventus, I'll follow that. If he is in Real Madrid, I'll follow that. If he is in Al Nassr, I'll follow that. So any particular player, if they got hired by other club, so the supporters could shift, right? Similarly, commercial sponsors could shift. Similarly, management and coaching staffs could shift, right? If you have this is a competition that your prize money, supporters, and all that can be targeted by other clubs. This is a threat here. Problem with sponsors leading to non-renewal of contract. Like if your club is not performing well, the sponsors, the merchandisers can close the contract and they could hire for a club, go for a club who's performing well. In fact, I remember a Bollywood film. The film name was Goal, right? It's a previous film, right? And there was a club that was struggling to survive, right? It's a story of that football club which was struggling to survive. So These are the clubs, and they follow these threats, right? Because of the loss of the games, they didn't have the ground that much well, right? So there could be problem with commercial sponsors also. Then departure of key players, management and coaching staff is a threat. If the key players lost, you will lose the supporters, right? Loss of key players through serious injuries, yeah. If the player get injured, it might lose you. Then fall in income from contracts, television contracts, right? Decreasing appeal of football. Yeah, there could be a decline in viewing football, right? There could be a decline in viewing football. There's a possibility that the football viewership would decline, the hockey viewership got increased, that cricket viewership got increased, right? Threats of income from other businesses seeking sponsorship and other sports. There are the other sports that are challenging football. Although the football is, I would say, leading, I would say, sports brand. But the thing is, there are other sports as well which are being followed. Tennis being followed, right? I remember one of the greatest tennis player just got retired. I don't exactly recall the name, but the people are following that, right? Including punishments for the financial fair play regulation. Yeah, if you have breached the fair play regulation, your 3 year consolidated income is less than is more than -5 million. So you'll breach that, and you could get some punishments, and it's right. Similarly, damage to club brand. If your player have been involved in any particular thing, fixing or kind of an affair and any particular sort of things, so it's a club brand damage, right? Negative media coverage, yeah, of personal life of players. If they got drunk and got been thrown out of the house and they're run roaming and they're famous ones, so it would get the media coverage. Health and safety risk. They have security risk arising from poor behavior of supporters, right? Security risk is also there, huh? Like poor behavior by supporters, then financial risks such as interest rate, exchange, liquidity, and solvency. Huh? Financial risks such as interest rate, exchange, liquidity, and solvency. So these all are the risk. And this could be a hot question also, right? This could be a hot question also. You could be asked to calculate the financial fair play. You could be asked to comment on the threats and risk of your company, of any, like they could give you a scenario that we are buying that particular company and they have some threats to analyze and identify how we can clear that, right? Yeah. So now stakeholders. What are the stakeholders? Anyone who is impacted by or gets impacted by activities of your company, right? Of your club in terms of this industry of your football club, they are the stakeholders, right? So who are the stakeholders of a football club? They include shareholders, directors, players, coaching staffs, team managers, they all are the internal stakeholders, right? They all are the internal stakeholders. Stakeholders have classifications. I've taught you that in theories, right? Now, other key stakeholders include supporters, retail customers, television broadcasters, commercial sponsors, merchandise suppliers. So these all are the other key stakeholders. And one of the key stakeholders is supporters, right? One of the key stakeholder here is supporters. Leading teams in Thailand. Who are the leading teams? So our team is not the leading. In fact, from the past 3 years, we are not that much performing well. Huh? We are not that much, I would say, performing well. We are eighth this time. Out of 20, we are eighth now, right? Whereas in 2000, we were fifth. In 2001, we were sixth. Although we're gonna be having some reasons of that might be mentioned here in the third part of this advanced case study, right? Of the pre-scene, but currently we are not that much good. Similarly, our revenue is not that much good. Similarly, our public capacity, stadium capacity is not that much good, right? You can see the leader here, the Maritime Montiamo. It's the leader. It's the highest earner here, I would say. Huh? The highest earner. Then Lewin is the second. It's in a descending order. Huh? We are the last in eighth. We are eighth, right? Not the 20th. So that's good, huh? The clubs with three top teams in Division A. The clubs with three top teams in Division A in the KFL season have all moved to the new stadiums in last 8 years. So these three top clubs have moved to the new stadiums, right? These stadiums offer better facilities for supporters as well as increased capacity. So have some better facilities here. Then the clubs who have built new stadium. There are some clubs who have built new stadiums have also managed to increase their income from hiring out non-football events, just like a wedding reception or any particular big man's wedding reception, any particular news event, any particular function, and all that. A governmental association like those clubs who have bigger grounds, they let it right. They let it to income get some sort of income. Now, the new stadiums have been built to maximize energy usage efficiency and reduction of carbon footprint. So there could be a question on sustainability as well. Huh? There could be a question on sustainability as well. Now, all clubs are trying to use digital media strategy to enhance their income. All clubs are now trying to enhance their incomes, right? In them. Clubs use their own website and social media platforms. Yeah, they have the Instagram account, they have the Facebook account, they post theirs, right? The club with the four top teams in Division One have their own television channel. Yeah, some of the top four clubs have their own television channel, right? So it's kind of a revenue earner for that because the supporters of them pay subscriptions to be on that television channel. The supporters pay subscriptions to be on that television channel, right? So these television channels are available on websites and other platforms. Then what are the KPIs? Yeah, you could be asked to evaluate the KPIs. So see the questioning guess. You could be asked to calculate the FFPR, financial fair play regulation, whether that's violated or not. You could be asked to comment on risk and threats. You could be asked to comment on KPIs, like if your club's KPI is revenue, players' salaries, it's a KPI, how much you pay to your players, EBITDA, it's a KPI, how much you pay there, right? Relevant earnings and financial fair play regulation, how much you pay there, right? Financial fair play regulation, that if it's been breached or not. Cash flows is your whether you are the cash rich club or not, Capex, how much capex do you do? Capex can be the player buying, then similarly, non-financial KPIs. That's percentage of your match attendance. Yeah, average match attendance. It's 90, 40, 50. How much? The great, the good. League position in men's first teams, Other teams. League position in men's first teams. Number of season ticket holder. How much how much ticket holders did you have? Club website hits. Yeah. How much website hits do you have? Compliance with applicable regulations. These are the non-financial KPIs. So you could be asked on the comment of your company's financial as well as non-financial performance. So you could compare here, right? You could compare here, right? So if I can summarize the today's meeting, so what did we do? We cover the FFPR, Financial Fair Play Regulation. We made an Excel sheet and ensured that in which year the regulation was breached, in which year this regulation was breached, right? You did that, then you know about the media coverage. How does the media operates here? And the news is the most newspaper covers. They like the newses which are not covered by other ones, so their newspaper sales can increase. Industry challenge to remain successful, risk and threats, stakeholders, and then KPIs, right? So I guess we did enough. I would say we did enough to have an idea of this industry and how does this particular Kyland league operates, right? In the next class, we're gonna be doing our company. That how does our company operates in this industry. The athletic Transcentral company, how does that operates, right? And apart from that, we're going to be doing some questioning guess. And if the similar type of questions have been asked, just I remember then there's been a question in a kit which asked you to solve, right? To calculate. So we're going to be doing that. So you have an idea that how that financial fair play regulation could be tested, right? And similarly, I had an idea that there was a question on KPIs. So we can look that question. So you would have an idea that if a question comes on KPIs, what gonna be doing that, right? If the question comes on KPI, so what we gonna be doing, right? So that's all from my side. Take care. See you in the next class. Thank you.